Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beer Review. So this is a homebrew catch-up. I do not have the box anymore because I've chucked it. But the Bulldog Brews Sticky Toffee Pudding Cider. Sticky Toffee Cider. No, sorry, Toffee Cider, not Sticky Toffee. I'm getting mixed up with bloody Imperial Stout. Toffee's apple cider. There we go. Original ABV is about 4 or 5%. I bumped it up to 7%. However, initially I got a sulphur, smell of sulphur, like eggs and that. This actually came, I got this at the end of the brew, the end of first fermentation, and I got it for quite a while on the second fermentation. So I've cracked open a new bottle today, and I think this is the bottle. Oh yeah. And so I'm going to pour it out. Now I've already poured a taster out, so instead of it being as clear as it really should be, it isn't, but there we go. Looks the job. Hazy instead of, like I say earlier, it was clear. You can see now that the sediment in the bottom looks black. But yeah, drank it earlier, it was a lot more clear than that. So you just got to show you, homebrew is a funny thing, isn't it? You know. Put the glasses on. Fucking hell. Killing my eyes with them on. Horrible. So this is it. This is the toffee apple cider, 7%. Now the amazing thing is, earlier when I tried it, there was no sulphur at all. There was a burst of toffee though. The toffee apple was absolutely sublime on the nose. So I'll go back to it. And again, oh, toffee apple. Nice ABV, that 7% really kicks in. Like I say, it's not supposed to be hazy. I've got more bottles here, and I'll show you the bottles. So, just to prove a point, that's the bottle. That's what the first glass poured earlier. So, obviously, sediment, because I have my bottles on a wine rack, the sediment doesn't stay at the bottom. It kind of goes in, you know, into the folds, as it were. So you can see how clear it is, and the first glass was crystal clear. This glass a bit more hazy. It doesn't bother me a slight, but it probably would other people. You know, we all like beers to look a certain thing and do a certain thing. What I can tell you is ABV wise, wow, that's 7%, and the fact that there's no sulphur anymore is amazing. It just proves that when you play around with some of these kits, that you know, sometimes you win. And today with this one, certainly won. The taste of toffee apple, oh, lovely. I've been in the hot tub for an hour, so I'm knackered. Hot tub's like a bath, isn't it? So you go in, and after an hour, you're like, oh God, I'm off sleep. And I am. I just feel sleepy. Now, if you was to sell that in shops, 7% toffee apple cider, you know, sparkling toffee apple cider. It does beg the question whether, you know, if you had your own micro, and I've probably said this before, and I think I have, if you was to brew your own and sell it, but brew it from a beer kit and sell it, would you still need to have a license, you probably would, a brewing license, even if you're doing. But could you imagine opening up a micro pub of sorts that just, you know, that had commercial brands for obvious sakes, but also did beer kit brewing and showcased beer kits on the bar. And as we know, beer kit brewing is the cheapest form of brewing, cheaper than all grain. I know this simply because I can brew a beer in 20 minutes, or a cider. 40 pints, 20 minutes, literally 40 pence. It's costing me 40, 50 pence, unless you go for an impy stout, you're looking at £1. But you brew it in all grain and it's costing you a lot more. Then you've got the electricity side of things. Yeah, just beg that question. And if anybody's ever done it. I mean, you probably wouldn't be able to name the beers as St. Peter's, like St. Peter's Honey Porter. You would have to say, I honeyed my porter. Yeah, or something like that. But could you imagine doing it that way? Using beer kits and selling beer kit beer. Obviously cheaper. But would you be able to sell it cheaper because of duty? But if you're producing 40 pints for literally 20 quid, you know, it does beg the question. For me, it opens up a world of interesting questions. It's a possible beer of Raggy. Would you be able to sell commercial beer kits, beer made from beer kits in a commercial setting? Interesting. As this goes though, it's hitting the spot. It's doing its job. It's obviously hazy. It doesn't look like it did in the bottle, but it's tasting absolutely spot on. It's very drinkable for a cider drinker. It's very, very drinkable and very sleepy drinkable as well. I can feel myself wanting to nod. It's going in there and then drinking a beer. I walked the dog and I was like half asleep walking the dog. And so coming in here and sampling this, whew, yes, a lovely beer nonetheless. Cider rather. Like I say, it's 7%. So just to show you that sulphur element, and I want the only person who got the sulphur thing. It has disappeared. It's took a while to disappear. So you know, leaving it for 2 or 3 months is possibly a good thing. Just for it to disappear and for you to get the full enjoyment of the cider. I mean, obviously that's not as that's hazy compared to what it was in the bottle. And the first glass that I poured was not hazy. It was crystal clear, to be fair. But obviously, because the bottles are like this, and so sediment sits in there, and then sediment sits down there. So obviously, keeping it upright is a good thing. In my shed, I'm the only one really drinking this, so for me, it's not an issue at all. But for some people, you know, bottle conditioning, keeping it crystal clear is obviously an issue. I mean, what I could have done is brought this out for a few days, swished it around like this, just to get rid of any of the sediment on the bottom. There you go, sediment's gone there. And then leave that for a few days and let it settle down, and the sediment will drop to the bottom. If you look here at a different bottle, the sediments at the bottom there and the amber looking beers there. The pitfalls of homebrew, I suppose, you know. With homebrew, me myself, on an all grain setting, I think I'm just going to go back to doing stouts. I love stouts anyway, and I prefer stouts. And the next thing I'm going to brew is a black cherry imperial stout. I've got the essence. I was actually given that yesterday by a brewer. So I've got the essence. So I'm going to get the all grain, get a couple of mates round the arse to help brew it. And not that I need the help, but to brew it so that they see the processes involved in brewing. And if you've got the pennies to afford better kit, it's all about the kit. You know, the kit makes a difference. But obviously, the more you do it, the more you learn as well. You know, as a gardener, I know ways of doing things that will make something look great. And oh, quite the kick. That is a lovely 7% cider, and it's the ABV. Wow, you can really feel it. It's like an imperial cider, not quite imperial, obviously. Although on some places 6.5% is actually imperial. Yeah, I don't class anything imperial until you get above 9, but me personally. But what it is, you could call it a double cider, couldn't you? A D cider, yeah, double cider. But yeah, or a DTAC, yeah. But in any case, it's a good cider. 7%, it hits the spot. The aroma of toffee apple, the taste of toffee apple, it's sublime. It finally has delivered, and I've got a nice few bottles of this as well. So I'm all good. I'm glad that I actually waited a bit longer, and it also confirms that yes, if you do, sometimes you won't, sometimes you will, but if you do get the sulphur, leave it, let it breathe, let it condition, and it will get rid of it itself. And there you go. Would I drink it again? Yes. But yeah, I'm happy with that, despite the fact that it's cloudy. You've seen it clear, so that's just a storage thing. I've got 2 new kits on the floor that are, yeah, well, I'll not talk about the second kit, that are doing their thing, and then again they'll go up on the racking. So you know, I've got racking, I've got to use it. Saves having beer after beer after beer on the floor. But yeah, well pleased with that, and that's my review. You know, it's been a while, so but it finally delivered, and now I'm going to go in the house. I'm going to sit on the settee, put the fleece around me, and probably fall asleep because I feel knackered. Cheers. It's not for a drink either.